press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi, hello students, welcome back to video classes by Siddhaganga. See, today we will start a new chapter in the human physiology called Body Fluids and Circulation. Body fluids and circulation. Right? See, the first topic, digestion and absorption in human physiology, and the next topic is breathing and exchange of gases, right? And the third topic or the third chapter in the unit called human physiology is the body fluids and circulations, right? See, in this chapter, we are going to learn the process of circulation, means the mechanism of circulation, and the informations and the complexity of the body fluids and their compositions, right? So here you will be learning some topics called, the first topic is introduction, and the second topic we are going to learn blood, and the third topic is lymph. See, lymph is called tissue fluid, and circulatory pathways, double circulation, and regulation of cardiac activity, means the functions of heart, and the last topic is disorders of circulatory system, right? So these are some topics included under this chapter. See, introduction part, anyway, every chapter is having a sort of introduction, right? And we will prepare the composition of blood and its components, right? And the lymph is a tissue fluid, right? I will explain what it is. These are the two body fluids. These are considered the two different body fluids, right? These are the two different body fluids present in the human beings, right? And after this, we will thorough with the circulatory system, right? Circulatory system or blood vascular system, what we are call it as the circulatory system, and the pathways, the different pathways observed in the human circulatory system. And as we know that in human beings, the double circulation, that means what? The human heart which receives and pumps both deoxygenated and oxygenated bloods separately, right? So hence the circulation in human beings is considered as double circulation, right? So as the human heart receives and pumps, what I am telling, see, there are two processes. One is receiving and another one is pumping of the same blood, right? Which receiving and pumping of both deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood, right? Separately, hence is considered as double circulation, where we are learning this thing, right? And the regulation of cardiac activity, as we know that the human heart is and its functions are regulated by the certain sort of mechanisms, and that I will tell in this topic, right? And finally, we will discuss the few disorders of the system. So this is how the chapter reveals, right? So let me explain what is the circulation, what is the meaning of circulation. See, as we know that there are two parts in the chapter, right? One is body fluids and other one is circulation. See, every topic is like that only. In case of digestion and absorption, right? Similarly, breathing and exchange of gases, right? So this is how the chapter reveals anta helbodu. So then I will tell you what is exact the circulation, right? So as we know that the different cells and tissues, right? The living cells and tissues see, if you talk about the cells, living cells and tissues, right? See, as we know that the living cells and tissues are provided with nutrients, oxygen and other essential substances, right? And other essential substances. See, these substances, the nutrients, oxygen and other essential substances are provided to the living cells and the tissues of the body, right? And similarly, the major means the waste substances are removed, right? Removed from the living cells and tissues, removed, right? See, here these are provided, okay? See, the nutrients, oxygen and other essential substances are provided into the living cells and tissues, and similarly from the cells and tissues, these waste substances are produced here, they are removed from the tissues. See, these are the two essential processes, right? These are the two essential processes, see, to have a healthy functioning of the cells and tissues, right? Healthy functioning of cells and tissues. See, you need to remember this thing, right? So, this is the healthy functioning of cells and tissues, but this thing is happened only when the cells are provided with the certain nutrients, oxygen and essential substances, right? As we are aware of this thing in case of digestion, right? See, after digestion, the nutrients are absorbed into fluids, and why the food into the body, and why the food is required by the body, yes or no? And why the food is required, and what is the function of the food, and in case of breathing and exchange of gases, oxygen is required. Why the oxygen is required, and what is the role of oxygen? So, oxygen is required for what purpose? What purpose? Because for biological oxidation of food molecules, so oxygen is required, right? See, so nutrients, so these are the nutrients, and nutrients required oxygen to break, right? So for breaking down of nutrients, oxygen is required. So hence it is said to be the biological oxidation of food molecules to release energy, right? In the form of ATPs. So this is how the living cells are provided by certain sort of substances. Similarly, from the living cells and tissues, the certain materials, means the waste substances, are removed. See, these are the two things, are the two processes which are very much required in every living organisms. Remember, In every living organisms, these are the two processes very much required, and these processes are required to maintaining the body with the healthy functioning of the cells and tissues. Right? Maintaining of the body of an organism by having healthy cells and tissues. Okay, right? So this is how these are the two processes are recognized, and for this purpose, see, every living organisms developed a mechanism, an essential mechanism, right? An essential process of process, or you can consider mechanism, right? Process or mechanism of movement of these molecules or the substances, right? Molecules are the substances to cells and from the cells. Ready? See here, to cells and from the cells. Ready? See here, the essential process or mechanism developed in every living organism. For what purpose? To perform these processes, right? To perform these processes. You need to remember, one is the providing of the nutrients into the cells and tissues and removing of the waste substances from the cells and tissues for getting healthy functioning status, right? For healthy functioning status. For that purpose, every living organisms, they will possess a separate mechanism, right? Mechanism for the movement of these substances into the cells and from the cells, right? Into the cells and from the cells. So this is what we are called, it has a circulatory system, and the process is known as circulation, right? Hope you are understand, right? So this is the exact process of circulation, right? See, to perform this, different animals, different organisms develop or evolved with different mechanism of circulation, right? See, different animals develop or evolved, better, you need to use, different animals evolved with different types of circulatory systems, right? Systems. See, you need to remember this statement. It is a very important statement, right? Okay. So, different animals evolved with different types of circulatory systems. For example, if we talk about the simple organisms, right? See, if you take simple organisms means even if you take unicellular organism, I will tell you separately, as see here, consider a unicellular organism, right? So even in this organism, the process of circulation takes place, right? If you talk about amoeba, right? So you amoeba examples tagoli. For example, you take amoeba, right? You amoeba example tagondre, right? Amoeba, it is amoeba, right? So these are pseudopodia, right? So it is a unicellular, single-celled organism, right? And even this amoeba, so circulate means exchange the substances in and out with its surroundings, right? So means through the general body surface, the simple process is known as diffusion. the process is known as diffusion. Diffusion, right? Diffusion is the movement of molecules from higher to lower concentration. See, the nutrients are drawn into the cells. Similarly, the waste substances produced inside the nutrients, even the carbon dioxide, oxygen is or it will be drawn into the cell, and carbon dioxide, okay, removed from the cell. It is all by the process we called it as the diffusion. It is the simple process of movement of molecules from higher concentration into lower concentration, right? So this is what we are called it as very much simple organisms. If you talk about, so if you take an example, see in case of multicellular and simple, if you talk about multicellular and simple organisms, see sponges. See in the NCERT they are given the sponges. It is very important MCQ, right? Very important MCQ will appear in examinations. In case of sponges and in case of coelantrates, sponges and coelantrates, right? In case of sponges and coelantrates, you will be come across the different types of simple means the circulatory system, where the circulatory system is very much simple as they will exchange, see they will exchange these substances or the movement or the circulation takes place, okay, right? See here is very simple way where the exchange means the direct exchange through their body wall. See, if you talk about sponges, see here, for example, the sponges, if you take cycon, right, cycon, see the cycon or the sponges, porifera anta odidri ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ in case of high school, and even in the first PU, the fourth chapter is there. In the first unit, you are going to learn the characteristic features of the sponges, right? As we know that the very basic characters of the sponges, the body possesses the minute pores known as ostia, right? So these are known as ostia, and the large opening called osculum, right? Osculum. The large openings are called osculum and the minute openings are called ostia, right? Ostia and osculum. Ostia plural, right? Osculum singular. Oscula antanu use ಮಾಡಿ plural, right? See here, the sponges have evolved with a special mechanism. I think you are remembering the word called vascular. Water canal system. Water canal system, yes, or water vascular system. Water vascular system. See, water vascular system. See here, in this case, the water enters into the body through the ostia and moves out through the osculum. See, water enters into the body through the ostia and moves out through the osculum. See, while this movement, see, during this movement of water, the circulation and the process of reproduction, see there are many processes are completed only by that way. See, here they are not evolved with any special organs or cells to perform this. Only when the water enters into the body and moving out of the body, during this process, see, nutrition takes place, means the water brings the food substances into the body, right? Similarly, it will carry out the excretory substances from the body. It will carry out excretory substances. So nutrition ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, excretion ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, circulation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ reproduction ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So these are the 4 different processes are carried out with only one mechanism, a special mechanism of the sponges, a special features of the sponges ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. That is called water vascular system or even considered as water canal system, right? So this is how the sponges They comes under simple organisms, right? These are evolved to have the circulation like this. Similarly, coelentrates, they will exchange the substances, or the movement of substances takes place in case of coelentrates through their general body surfaces, right? Through their general body surfaces. Coelentrates, nidarians antanu heltivi, nidarians, right? Nidarians, coelentrates, nidarians, right? These even for example jellyfishes, Aurelia anta heltivi, jellyfishes, comb jellies and sea anemone, right? So these are the different animals comes under coelentrata, and these in this coelentrates they have evolved with the simple mechanism of circulation, where the movement of molecules, movement of substances takes place into the body and to the outside. Very simple mechanism through the general body surface, and the mechanism is known as diffusion, right? So this is how the simple organisms are also performing, means every, I have already told you, every living organism, see, every living organism have a specific mechanism to perform the process of circulation, right? So next thing is, if we talk about the higher organisms, right? So complex or higher organisms. So higher organisms, for example, in case of human beings, because the chapter, in this chapter we are going to stress only the circulation and the circulatory pathways in case of human, right? So in case of higher organisms, right? See, in case of higher organisms, they are having the specified body fluids, right? The specified body fluids, and these specified body fluids are considered as blood and lymph, right? So these are the two different body fluids. These are the two different body fluids are required to have the circulation, and these are involved in the movement of molecules, right, into the cells and from the cells, right? And these are the two different types of body fluids and developed with a specified circulatory system, right? And we will move into the specific circulatory system, right? So in this chapter we are going to learn the composition. See, composition. Again I am telling the things, right? In this chapter we are going to learn the composition of blood and lymph, right? Blood and lymph, and with heart and its systematic functions, right? Heart system in case of human beings. See, when we talk about the functions of circulation, right? These are the things you need to remember additionally for competitive purpose, right? So functions of circulatory system. Then I will move on to the blood vascular system, right? When we talk about the functions, here the first function is transport of nutrients, transport of nutrients, transport of unwanted waste substances or products, right? And transport transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು breathing and exchange ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀರ, the process of transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? And the fourth one carries metabolic intermediates. What it means, intermediates are the products produced or the byproducts produced during a metabolic process and metabolism, right? So they will involved in the carrying of these substances and transport of hormones into their targets or target tissues. See, basically in our body, what happens? Hormones are produced from one part of the body and they are carried into the other part of the body to show their effect. See, so hence that other part is considered as, or the tissues or the cells considered as targets, right? And so this transportation is also because of these body fluids, right? So these are the different functions of the circulatory system, and also the circulation of or the movement of water, even hydrogen ions, right? Movement of water, hydrogen ions and other chemical substances including electrolytes, right? And all these things, etc. So all these things are controlled because of the system, circulatory system. See, these are the different functions of the circulatory system you need to remember. And see, regarding this, you may get a 2-mark or 3-mark questions. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ application based questions and knowledge based questions ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. In case of knowledge based questions, you need to mention any four functions of the circulatory system, right? So these are the different functions, right? So the next, if you talk about, please note down all these things, okay? So ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವುದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. And the next thing is, types of circulatory pathways. See, these are all comes under your introduction part, right? So types of circulatory pathways. ನಾವಿನ್ನು ಬ್ಲಡ್ಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗೋಣ, ಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಟೈಪ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್, there will be 2 categories observed in case of different animals. So there are 2 categories. The one thing is open circulatory system. ನೋಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ, in case of high school only, there will be 2 types of circulation. One is open circulation and other one is closed circulation, right? See, in this open circulation, see, blood is pumped by the heart. See, blood is pumped by the heart into pumped by the heart through large vessels into their body cavity, into their body cavities, or you can call it as sinuses, right? See, blood sinuses antane karittivi, where this type of system is seen in case of arthropods, arthropods, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, cockroach, scorpion, right? ನೋಡಿ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆರ್ಥ್ರೋಪೋಡ್ಸ್, and even in case of molluscans, right? Molluscans, and even in case of echinoderms, you will come across open type of circulatory system where the network of blood capillaries and vessels absent. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಂಪ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಥ್ರೂ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ into their body cavities. Means the blood is moving in the body cavities, right? So body cavity nalli open ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So the blood is said to be present in the body cavity. Even the cavity filled with the blood is known as hemolymph ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು. hemolymph, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು hemolymph ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. And the second one is the closed circulatory system. In their closed circulatory system, the blood is pumped by the heart. Note down please. Second one is closed circulatory system. See here, in this, the blood is pumped by heart into a closed network of capillaries. See, the capillary system is absent in open circulatory system, and whereas the capillary system is present in closed circulatory system, right? So in this, you need to remember, in this closed circulatory system, the blood is pumped by the heart into a closed network of capillaries. And here the examples are all annelids and chordates, including cephalochordates, right? Chordates. So chordates anta bandre ella bandoytali. Chordates andre enagutte? The phylum Chordata, which includes the 4 subphyla: Cephalochordata, Vertebrata, right? Urochordata. So all these, the different chordates, means entire chordates, so means including this, are having the closed circulatory system. And as we know that the subphylum Vertebrata, so in the subphylum Vertebrata, there are different classes. The superclass known as Pisces and the superclass known as Tetrapoda, right? In the Tetrapoda, you will come across Pisces plus Tetrapoda. Pisces andre fishes barutte, Tetrapoda andre amphibians barutte, reptilia barutte, aves barutte, and mammalia. In the mammalia, human beings, right? So this is how we are studying this method, means this system, right? Closed circulatory system. So the next thing is, we will enter into the blood vascular system, right? And these are all the different phyla and the different animals you are going to study in the chapter Animal Kingdom, right? ಈಗ ಕಾರ್ಡೇಟಾದಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಸಬ್ ಫೈಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಬ್ ಫೈಲ 4 ಸೆಫಲೋಕಾರ್ಡೇಟಾ, ಹೆಮಿಕಾರ್ಡೇಟಾ, ಯೂರೋಕಾರ್ಡೇಟಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವರ್ಟಬ್ರೇಟಾ. ಸಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತೀರಾ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ vascular system. See, this blood vascular system, it comprises of heart. Sorry, first blood, heart, right? And arterial system, venous system and lymphatic system. See, these are all the things one by one we will learn in detail, right? So ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, blood vascular system ಅಂತಷ್ಟೇ. So blood vascular, why it is called vascular? Because it is a tissue which is known as a vascular tissue. It is a fluid connective tissue, right? So as in case of plants, we are using xylem and phloem, right? Xylem and phloem are called vascular tissue. Similarly, in case of animals, the blood is vascular tissue. So blood vascular system, it comprises of, you are getting one MCQ in it, right? One MCQ on this. You need to remember, the blood vascular system comprises of blood, heart. Heart is a pumping device, right? It is required to pump the blood. For receiving and pumping of the blood takes place via heart, right? So, and this one is arterial system. The arterial system consisting of arteries, venous system consisting of blood veins, and lymphatic system consisting of lymph and lymph nodes and lymphatic vessels, right? I will tell you in detail one by one, okay? The first thing is, I will take the composition of blood. Okay, let me explain. The first one is blood composition, right? Blood and its composition. The next, put heading blood. The study of blood is called hematology. The study of blood is called ಹೆಮೆಟಾಲಜಿ. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಹೀಮ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಹೆಮೆಟಾಲಜಿ, ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆಮೆಟಾಲಜಿ. ಸಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ connective, note down these points, fluid connective tissue, and blood is a vascular, it is also called vascular tissue of animals, right? So blood is also called vascular tissue of animals, and it is a fluid connective tissue, and it's consisting of fluid matrix known as plasma, right? It consisting of a fluid matrix, because if you talk about any connective tissue, every connective tissue consisting of a matrix and cells and fibers. But in case of blood, fibers are absent. Only you will be come across the matrix and the cells, and the cellular components or the cells, cellular components are known as, are formed elements. You can consider the cellular components as formed elements. See, in the blood you will be come across, one is the fluid matrix known as the plasma and formed elements. See, very simple, if you take blood minus all the cells present in the blood, you will get plasma, right? So see here, what is plasma? Plasma is the blood minus cells, right? Blood minus cells is called plasma. See, if you take plasma minus clotting proteins. See, blood clotting proteins are present in blood, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. But in case of plasma, see, blood minus cells means blood cells, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Okay, so it's called plasma, and the plasma minus clotting proteins is known as serum. See, you need to remember these terms, very important. Serum. What is serum? Serum is the plasma minus clotting proteins. Means when the clotting proteins are removed by the plasma, from the plasma, then it is considered as serum. So in the serum, you will come across antibodies. See, antibodies present in the serum. Remember, antibodies are also, they are the proteins that fight against pathogens, right? So these antibodies are present in the serum, right? Blood group antibodies are different and fighting antibodies are different. I will tell in future, right? So plasma minus clotting proteins called serum. See, if you add some WBCs, some means few WBCs, right? Means white blood corpuscles. So then it becomes lymph. See, lymph. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಸೀರಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಲಿಂಫ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು. Lymph is a tissue fluid. I will tell you in detail, right, in further, right, after studying blood, we will go into lymph, right. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ದ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆಮಟಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ಹೆಮಟಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ, ಇದು ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಕುಲರ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ known as plasma. And one more thing, the cellular components present in the blood considered as formed elements ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. The matrix is known as plasma. Plasma ಅಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸು. ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾ, right? Plasma is the matrix. It consisting of cells ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು and proteins. So after removing cells, then it become plasma. Then plasma, so consisting of clotting proteins, yes or no? So then clotting proteins are removed, then it become what? Serum. Serum consisting of only antibodies and the plasma fluid, right? And plasma plus if you add some few WBCs, so then it becomes what? Means without RBCs, you need to remember, without RBCs, okay, this is the colorless fluid called lymph, colorless. So this is how the blood, the basics can be studied. And one more thing, so if you talk about the blood volume in a person, the person who has weight about 70 kg, consider, okay, a person, okay, he or she having 70 kg ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅಂದರೆ 70 kg ತೂಕ ಇದೆ. So they are having, means the person is having about 5.5 liters of blood. 5.5 liters. Approximately, it will comes around 8% of total body weight. Total body weight. So approximately it will comes around total body weight anta kelidre, that is 8%. So if any questions may arise, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದೇನಾದರೂ ಬಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. And you know, the blood pH, blood is slightly alkaline and its pH is 7.4. See, the blood pH is 7.4. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, slightly alkaline. Please note down this thing, right? pH is 7.4, slightly alkaline, right? Slightly alkaline, and its temperature also marked as 38 degrees Celsius. And generally, when we talk about pH, the pH is slightly alkaline. See, the pH will be more in case of arteries, when the blood is present in case of arteries, right? And in case of veins, the pH is less. See, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದೊಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, the blood pH is more in case of arteries than in case of veins. Yakendre, when the oxygen concentration is more in case of aorta and its branches, arteries, except pulmonary artery, I am telling, except pulmonary artery. I will show in the diagram and I will explain in the next, the structure of diagram also, right? Structure of heart. While explaining the structure of heart, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. In case of arteries, the pH is more, so than in case of blood in veins ಅಂತ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ veins ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. In case of deoxygenated blood, when the oxygen is less, so that will consisting of more carbonic acid, so then obviously pH is less, right? So this is how the blood basics you need to remember. These are the things, right? And see, it forms about 8% of the total body weight, and even if you take a person with having 70 kgs, okay, his or her weight, so consisting of 5.5 liters approximate I am telling, 5.5 liters of blood, right? And this one is 38 degrees Celsius temperature, you need to remember. And even the blood is heavier than water ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, and its pH is slightly alkaline, about 7.4, right? The cellular components are called formed elements, and the blood minus, if the cells are removed from the blood, then it becomes plasma. So then the clotting proteins or the factors removed by the plasma, then it becomes serum, and serum consisting of antibodies only, antibody A and antibody B. So like that, there are two different types of blood group antibodies are present in the blood serum, and even the serum also consisting of any antibodies produced by the body while defending against the pathogens, right? And the plasma consisting of with a few W bases, so then it considered as the lymph. So but the lymph and its informations I will give you in the later classes, because after studying the blood, okay, understanding the blood and its composition only, you are able to understand this lymph, right? The next thing is composition of blood. Yes, it consisting of, write down this flow chart. So blood consisting of a fluid matrix known as plasma, right? And other one is formed elements. So these formed elements are the cellular components. Formed elements are known as cellular components. This one is plasma. Plasma constitute about 55% of blood, right? Plasma constitute of about 55% of blood, and these formed elements constitute 45% of blood. See, blood minus plasma, blood 100 minus 55, it gives 45%, right? You need to remember. So 55% of the blood is plasma, and 45% of the blood is formed elements. So again, this plasma is the fluid matrix. It consisting of water. It consisting of water and other substances. I will tell you in separate flow chart of this other substances, right? You just take like this, the first one is water and other one is other substances. Water, it consisting of 92% of the plasma. See, 92% of the plasma is water and the remaining 8% constitute other substances of the plasma. I will tell you what are these other substances. See, other substances including nutrients, including gases, including proteins, including salts, ions, etc. Right? So these formed elements consisting of three types of cells. Right? Three types of cells known as erythrocytes, right? Erythrocytes, leukocytes, and platelets. Right? See, erythrocytes constitute about 95.1%. NCERT ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ for MCQ in competitive. 0.1% of the total formed elements that constitute leukocytes and platelets 4.8%. Total 100% of this formed elements, right? 45%, remember 45% of the blood is formed elements, right? And in this formed elements means cells. These are the cellular components, right? Further, I will take one more flow chart of this and this, right? See, plasma, it constitutes 55% of the blood and formed elements constitute 45% of the blood, right? Plasma consisting of maximum water. It is a watery fluid, right? But this is a fluid consisting of maximum water, as 92% of the plasma is water and other substances only 8% constitute, and I will tell you this one now. So this formed elements, and these are the three different types of formed elements. It means cells of the blood. Okay, so 45% ಅಲ್ಲಿ maximum ಯಾವ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ 95.1 means these are erythrocytes or RBCs, leukocytes are WBCs, white blood corpuscles or white blood cells ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇವನ್ನ ರೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ವೈಟ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಗೂ ರೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಗೂ ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದು 95.1% ಇದೆ, ಇದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ 0.1% ಇದೆ. And platelets are involved in blood clotting mechanisms, right? So these platelets are also called thrombocytes antanu kariyತಾರೆ, thrombocytes. So only 4.8% of the total formed elements in the blood, right? So this is about one flow chart, right? And then next we will take other substances of the plasma. Okay, so I will give one more flow chart. You need to remember, very important, other substances. Put heading other substances of plasma. Other substances of plasma, right? See, in this plasma, it consisting of proteins, in the plasma, proteins are present and inorganic salts are present and nutrients and organic waste, gases, and the last thing is, hope it will be visible, and the last thing is regulatory substances. See, these are the different substances present in the plasma, right? Yes. See this, in this proteins there are three, that is fibrinogen, albumins and globulins, and even in the globulins specifically immunoglobulins also. See, these are the different types of proteins present in plasma, right? And organic salts, when we talk about organic salts, sodium ions are present, right? Calcium ions, magnesium ions, bicarbonate ions. See here, sodium ions, calcium ions, magnesium, bicarbonate and chloride ions are present, right? So these are, and with other etc., right? These are the major salts present. And in case of nutrients, if you talk about nutrients, glucose, amino acids, please note down all these things, right? Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, even glycerol, vitamins, etc., right? These are the major nutrients found to be present in the blood plasma. And whereas the organic waste, if you talk about waste, urea, uric acid, right, and creatinine. See, these are all excretory substances, urea, uric acid and creatinine. And if you talk about gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide and little nitrogen. See, these are the different gases found to be present in the plasma. And the regulatory substances are enzymes, plasma consisting of enzymes and hormones. See, except cells, I am telling all these things, right? ಇಲ್ಲಿ cells ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, cells ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲದು blood ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿದಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ plasma. So in the plasma you will be come across these are the substances plus 92% of water, right? So 92% of water plus 8%, these are all things constitute only 8% of the total plasma, only 8%. See, these are the different inorganic ions, salts, nutrients, organic waste, gases and regulatory substances. So if you talk about these proteins, fibrinogen. So fibrinogen is a very much important protein present in the plasma. because it is a blood coagulating protein. Coagulation, nodi word, the term coagulation means clotting of the blood. Okay, remember clotting of the blood, fibrinogen, right? It is the blood clotting protein produced by the liver. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಲಿವರ್ ಇಂದ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅದನ್ನು ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೈಬ್ರಿನೋಜನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಬುಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ಬುಮಿನ್ಸ್. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯಾವುದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಬಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ಬುಮಿನ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ಬುಮಿನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ದ ಆಸ್ಮೋಟಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ಮೋಟಿಕ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್, ರೈಟ್? ವಾಟರ್ ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣನೇ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಬುಮಿನ್ಸ್. It will attract, these albumins will attract water and regulate the osmotic concentration. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, osmotic relationship of the blood is maintained by because of these albumins proteins. Globulins ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸರ್? Globulins, they are involved in the defense mechanisms. They are involved in the defense mechanisms. You need to remember, globulins, they are involved in the defense mechanisms. These globulins are produced by the lymphatic tissues. Lymphatic tissues in the barutte globulins. Albumins are produced in or by liver. Nenpidkolli, these two are produced by liver. Fibrinogen and albumins are produced by liver, and globulins, they are produced by the lymphatic tissues, right? And immunoglobulins are specified globulins anta helbodu. These are specifically act as the binding means fighting, sorry, not binding, the fighting proteins ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. These are the complex of proteins where they fight against pathogens, right? Immunoglobulins, they are also produced by the lymphatic tissues and lymph nodes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So these are the different types of proteins are found to be present in the plasma. So first three are very important: fibrinogen, albumins and globulins. If you will be means observing in different textbooks, ಬೇರೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ NCERT ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆದನ್ನು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮ್ಯುನೋಗ್ಲೋಬುಲಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮಗೆ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಮ್ಯುನೋಗ್ಲೋಬುಲಿನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಗಾಬರಿ ಆಗಬೇಡಿ. ಇಮ್ಯುನೋಗ್ಲೋಬುಲಿನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಗ್ಲೋಬುಲಿನ್ಸ್, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಫೈಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್, ರೈಟ್, ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ and these are the different inorganic salts. You just remember all these things. The glucose, see, blood consisting of very much means absorbed in the process of digestion. After digestion, absorption ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾನೋಮರಿಕ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮಾನೋಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಮಾನೋಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್, ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol and vitamins, right? And these are the organic waste produced in the plasma, means gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Even oxygen is present in the plasma, only 3%, okay? So RBCs will carry maximum oxygen. Idu ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್. ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ enzymes. The number of enzymes are found to be present in the plasma, and similarly hormones are present in the plasma. So this is how the first thing means the blood composition ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. And the next class I will go with the formed elements. We will learn erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets, right? So thank you, have a nice day.